Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zach. Today I'm going to be talking about JE, so Just Energy Group Incorporations. At any point in the video, if you feel you have any suggestions or comments, make sure to mention down in the comments below. I'm going to go through technical analysis, news, and what I think about this company. You're going to find as well a playlist with technical indicators in the description below if you'd like to watch that one and understand more about these technical indicators. What I'm going to do here, this is an update, so my previous DD where it discusses the recapitalization, you'll find it in the description below that I would recommend to watch it after this one. Let's jump right into it. On a 1 week perspective, what we get to see here is a continuation of the same kind of trend that we've been seeing before. MACD looks like it's actually trading sideways, where it does see a massive jump and then a dump, so it continues on to see that kind of path. Still early to see in terms of the 1 week perspective in terms of the new movement. ADX shows in that there is a potential of a trend forming sometime soon. Volume percent R puts the stock at oversold, and momentum seems to be still quite strong. I mean, still negative, but still recovered quite a bit of what it had back in 6th of September, or the week of 6th of September. Volume looks to be actually decent compared to the week before, but it's more, as we can see on the unbalanced volume, we get to see that it's actually mostly outflow. Moving averages looks bearish all through as it did before. So let's take a look into the 1 month, 1 day perspective. We get to see here, on the MACD, it's actually curving back down, and that is a bearish sign. Volume seems to be decreasing, and the unbalance indicates people are actually selling. ADX shows in a very strong trend here, and it might actually be a negative trend. A William percent R puts this one at an incredibly oversold position. Now, when we're looking at moving averages, what we get to see is that there is potential for them to kind of break through these at any point. Now, the biggest problem with this chart is that it doesn't really show you very much of a strong indication for one thing or another. And the problem is that it did go from 20 cents to all the way to 80 cents and then back to around 30 cents. And that is quite a bit in order to look at. Now, if we were to look into, let's say, the moving average band, what we get to see here is a massive spike on balanced volume and then basically just turn back to where it is. And it's unusual. It's expected to trade 27 cents in the middle at the bottom, 30 cents in the middle, and 33 into the top. Now, if we were to look into the charting for this one here, and I did also, by the way, just to mention, I tried to see if this stock is shortable. It doesn't seem to have shares available. It's hard to borrow stocks, but it looks like all the shares that were available have been shorted already. So what that means is you can also expect a short squeeze out of this one here. At least coming in from my broker, usually they have a lot of shares for different stocks that are shortable. So looking into 81 cents Fibonacci retracements, what we get to see is there is a strong resistance at the 35-cent mark, and then following that the 44-cent mark, and then following that the 51-cent mark. Now, if we were to look at significant supports and resistances for this one here, you're going to find that there is a significant support at the 29 cents. Below that, we get to see at the 27 cent mark. And below that, we're looking at 26 cents. And then 24 cents. That is a significant one there. If we were to looking at significant resistances, what we get to see here is one at 30 cents, one at 31, another at 34, and then another at 39, 40 cent mark, 41, 42, and then we hit the 43 cent mark. Any significant trends or whatnot here? Nothing seems to be on the one day perspective, but we get to look into the 1 hour perspective just to take a quick look, and we get to see here it doesn't really look much. I think this could be more of an inverted cup with a handle, and it looks like it's actually gone back to where it was trading before, so it looks like that kind of hype has died down a little, but volume is still significant. It looks kind of almost stabilizing at that. We're looking at the stochastic part here. Take a quick look in section here. We get to see it's actually bottoming out a little, so you might actually see a little bit of a pump in the morning or in the extended market and then dumps back low. Now let's take a quick look into latest news for this one here, and we get to see right off the bat here is their latest PRs coming out, and it's mainly they closed the recapitalization plan and reconstruction of the board of directors, and they have new board of directors and movements. Now, the biggest thing that is moving this one, and the one that really tanked it down pretty fast, is the 1433 basis in terms of stock consolidation, which is a reverse split, and this will take place tomorrow morning. Now, the rest is recapitalization plan that I did mention about, and I did go through the presentation as well in my previous video, so I recommend that you do actually watch it. Now, in terms of additional things coming in around here, nothing significant seems to be alarming other than the reverse split. They do have issuance of 3.67 million of common shares by the way of additional private placement of the company, so there is definitely dilution there as well. But it still looks like the recapitalization is have already been done. It's closed, and it looks like there is potential for this stock, as I did mention in my previous video. Now, on the 25th, there has been addition to the index fund for around 200,000, but that's the latest one. 120 as well, and a bunch of them 8,000, so around 330,000 shares added in index funds. So that's not really an institutional investor per se directly, it's more an accumulative fund where they create an index or an Moving on, what do I think about the stock and how do I think it's going to be trading? Now, this one here, on my last video, and I believe that was on Thursday, I did mention that there will be an somewhat of a jump coming in towards the stock, and we did see a really nice jump on Friday morning. I believe somewhere 24th of September, so it's around here, this range here, where it did actually jump. And then I did say that once the recapitalization gets closed, it's going to tank. Now, what I didn't expect is a reverse split, and that just made it even worse. So now comes into question is what happens post reverse split. Sometimes what happens is this stock momentarily kind of gets that hype. People are a little bit right on it. It's like, okay, they got recapitalization, just done a reverse split, it's not going to get delisted, and then the pumpers start pumping and it jumps back. That is a very strong possibility. Now, the other possibility that is a lot likely we get to see with a lot of stocks that do reverse splits is that it does slowly decrease down and fall down below the kind of levels that it was pre-split. So on the first day or two, you might actually see a little bit of a push, at least in the first week, and then post that you might actually see a little bit of a drop there. So it's definitely interesting though, because you do have recapitalization, and that is quite significant for this one. So it's not just playing on reverse split. So that's why I would say it would probably see spikes here and there, but in terms of the longer run, it's probably just going to drop down. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention that in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful